When we hear of female murderers, serial killers, anything like that, generally it's a woman poisoning. It's normally a woman doing something like that and not something outwardly violent, where Catherine just did the complete opposite, and then that's how the nightmare was discovered.
I entered the premises to conduct a cursory examination with Detective Sergeant Raymond.
At the door, there was a blood smear on the door handle and blood on the ground. Leads officers to believe that he went out there potentially to get help or to try and escape. One of the officers pushed away what he thought was a curtain, but then he felt that his arm was wet and he looked down and there was blood everywhere, and that's when they realised it wasn't fabric, it was...
Once inside the kitchen, I saw a large section of what appeared to be human skin hanging from the top architrave of the doorway, leading into the lounge room. This piece of skin extended from the top of the doorway right to the floor
of John Price, hanging from a butcher's hook above the door. John was stabbed when he was in bed, started making his way around the room, tried to get to turn on the light. He couldn't do that, went down the hallway. He got to the front door, he was dragged back in and ended up dying in the house. His skinned body was on the ground, headless, had been decapitated. Parts of his body, meat was removed. Some rump steaks were made. One was even thrown outside for the dog. There were 2 plates set up, each with his kids' names on them. On those plates were vegetables, steak that were parts of their father. Officers found on the stove that was still warm a stock pot, and when they opened that, there was...
The pot was full of a liquid. On the surface I could identify as a skinned human head and a number of cooked vegetables.
And then they heard snoring and went into the bedroom and found Catherine appeared to have taken a bunch of pills and was still alive, just not responsive. John Price's pal, during the autopsy, they were actually able to put it back over him and they could stitch it up and it went perfectly together. They couldn't believe how good she had skinned this man. Catherine Knight seemed to be a very erratic person. When she was nice, she was lovely. When she was mad, she was mad. John, by all accounts, he was a good guy, good dad, caring, friendly. They worked in the mines. He seemed to be one of those just genuine people. John and Catherine were similar in the sense that they both left school early and weren't really able to read or write very well. Catherine seemed to have a kind, loving side and then a crazy, violent side, and you wouldn't know which one you were going to run into down the street. Catherine and John Price started going out in 1993. Later on in the relationship, he tried to kick her out. In retaliation, she videotaped some supplies that John had taken from work. They were just out of date supplies that were thrown away, but she videotaped them saying that he was stealing from his workplace, and she turned it into his boss and got him fired. And that was her way of, I can hurt you if you try and leave me. So he stayed. Catherine Knight was born on the 24th of October 1955 in a little town called Tenterfield, New South Wales. Her upbringing was dysfunctional at best. The kids would watch the mother get beaten and worse in front of them. Catherine herself was also physically and sexually abused as a child by other family members. They moved to Aberdeen in 1969. Even in school, she would bully and hurt people with weapons, bamboo poles. When she wasn't being angry, she was model student who even won awards for good behaviour. Then not long after she left school when she was 15, she got a job at the local abattoir, and it was her dream job. She felt like she was following the family tradition because her dad, brother and her twin sister worked there as well. Once she was promoted in that position, she was given a set of butcher's knives and she hung them above her bed in every place she lived in. Her first husband was another abattoir worker, David Kellett, woke up to her strangling him on their wedding night because he didn't have sex with her 5 times. He only had sex with her 3 times that night. She hit David over the back of the head and burnt all his clothes because he got home from a darts competition late one night, and that put him in hospital. But he refused to press charges. They kept going back to her. And it seems like that was the common denominator was how she was in bed. Apparently that was worth people's lives. Yeah, she wasn't well. Catherine was the stereotypical bogan who, when people say, "Oh, she's crazy, you don't want to cross her," you actually really don't want to cross her. And back then, I think it was more of a joke to people until she actually did what she did. I think any case involving any sort of cannibalism does make people react more because we don't see it often. I guess it's something personal in a way that it's more scary for someone to think about than it is them thinking about someone just killing someone. It makes it scarier when you see a picture of someone and you see, oh, it's that woman. She looks like, my neighbor. I think that does make it hit home more and definitely makes it scarier to think that it could happen to anyone. Humans are capable of doing horrible things to one another and not showing remorse. It's a glimpse into the brain of someone who can do something that I can't fathom. And what we're capable of doing, what seemingly anyone is capable of doing.